Morning.
Good morning. Is that how you say your name, Saeed?
Yeah, that's my name, Said.
Good, good. I didn't know if I was pronouncing it correctly or not.
Yeah, that was the correct pronunciation. How about you? Is it Jennings? Pat Jennings?
Yes, I am. And I've got two little dogs and they're barking, and I need to go shut the door so they cannot see things to bark at. Just a minute.
No problem.
Okay, we should be okay.
Yeah, are you able to turn your camera on?
My camera, let me see. Yeah, there I am. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see.
Good, good.
So how have you been?
I'm okay. I am okay. My days are unpredictable, Saeed, because I have a chronic illness called rheumatoid arthritis. And it is one of those conditions that debilitates you, but it doesn't kill you. So and it's unpredictable. So you don't know how much it's going to affect you that day or if you'll be okay. But I am always affected in my knees and I always have pain. So I'm on several meds, but I function really well, I think. My doctors feel like I'm doing okay on the medicines I'm on, but I do take quite a bit of medication.
Hopefully you will be okay.
Excuse me, once again, I've got, Izzy? Okay. Get going. Now, I don't know. They have been sleeping all morning and now they decide they need to bark.
Yeah.
So I think Well, I think we can talk. They'll hush soon.
We'll start. I would like to start with a brief introduction.
Okay.
First, I will start with myself. I'm Saeed Malim, and I am a first-year student here at Berea College. And I'm currently doing a project with Katie to develop a website for the Berea Home Village. I'd like to hear about you.
Okay. What do you need to know about me?
Maybe just a brief introduction about you.
Okay. I am a 73-year-old retired social worker, and I have lived in the Berea area for 40 years. I was born and raised in Kentucky. I raised my two children here, and they have since grown and are far away. One is in California and one is in New York City. So I don't see them really often, but we do connect on Zoom. We connect like we are, FaceTime or something like that. I am an artist now. I work every day doing some form of artwork. I paint, and I also I do things with fabrics. I make fiber art, and I have a little Etsy shop now that shows my work. So I continue to do purposeful work. I think it's important for me to have something like that, to feel purposeful. Most of the money I make, I give to, I have certain organizations that I like to contribute to. And even though I'm a patient, I guess you would say, or a member of the Berea Home Village, I like to give money to them because I think it's absolutely a worthy organization, and we're lucky, so lucky to have it. So I live in town. when I was able, I could walk to the college square every day, and I did, and would sometimes stop and have coffee and then walk home. My friend and I would do that almost every single day, but I'm not able to walk like that anymore. I can still get around, I don't mean that, but as far as any lengthy walking, I can't do that. I just can't hold up for it. The disease I have also calls for a lot of rest. So every afternoon I lie down.
Yeah, awesome. That is impressive. So, did you graduated from Berea College?
No, I did not. I graduated from a state school called Western Kentucky University, and I got the undergraduate degree and a graduate degree from there. And it was not too awful long after that that I did move to Berea. I don't have any Berea College affiliations other than I love the college and appreciate what the college is doing and has done for many years. Um, I attend events at the college and I know a lot of the staff and I know some students, but I am not a graduate.
So we officially begin our interview with what really makes you happy?
What really makes me happy?
Yeah.
I think feeling independent, feeling that I still have a lot of important things to do and to be in my life. And I think that my artwork is really important to me. I try to do work that will make you smile and that will be pleasing and fun. And sometimes I make art that tells a story that's not so fun. I love what else pleases me is I love my dogs. And we are just a unit, the
Yeah.
dogs and me, and they make my life really happy. And I like good food, and I still do most all my own cooking. And if I can find a good place to eat out, I like to eat out and have a little drink with that. But here, since the pandemic, that has not really been possible. I have been in quarantine for this whole time because the medicine I take causes me to be susceptible to lots of different kinds of germs. And so I have not been able to go like to a restaurant or
Yeah.
even to the grocery store, not even the post office, because I've been under quarantine for over a year now. I am getting out with I've had my 2
But
vaccines. Yeah. And I wear my mask, and I got out this morning and did some running around that I needed to do. And that felt really good. Does that help
awesome.
answer that question?
Yeah, yeah, it does. It does. The fact that you are very ambitious, that makes you happy. That's really good. Yeah.
I
Uh,
am. I am. I despise. I do have I have a tendency to have depression, and I absolutely hate it when I'm getting through a spell of that. But lately I've been doing really well, and my meds really have helped me with that.
yeah, hopefully. Yes. Uh, the second question is maybe if it's not common though, who are you named after?
I am named after my two aunts on my father's side. One sister was named Martha Ann, and the other was named Mary Patricia. Therefore, I was named Martha Patricia.
So you are named after your two aunts. Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. What is your funniest memory?
Funniest, one of the funniest things that we ever did is my car. Uh, I was on the way to the fabric store with my sister, uh, and my car several months prior to that had been stolen. And we were on our way, and I guess I was driving a little bit fast, and the police officer pulled me over.
Okay.
Well, I thought he would give me a ticket for speeding,
Yeah.
but we sat there and sat there and finally here comes another car
Mhm.
heading, you know, one is in the back and now this one's heading toward us.
Yeah.
And we're going, what is going on? You know,
Yeah.
why do we need two police officers here for a speeding ticket?
Yeah.
And come to find out, when they put my name in the computer, whoever found my car had failed to remove it from the stolen car register, and they thought they'd gotten the car stealers. They thought we were the car thieves.
Okay.
And we thought it was my sister and I, who are both kind of, oh, irreverent, I would say,
Yeah.
thought it was hilarious. Well, the police did not find it hilarious at
Yeah.
all. In
Yeah.
fact, they had me get out. It was drizzling rain. It was cold. It was, I think it's on Thanksgiving weekend. Anyway, they had me get out of the car and I put my hands in my pockets because I was cold. They said, ma'am, remove your hands from your pocket. And can we see inside of your trunk? And I mean, they were doing the whole police thing. And I said, officer, I know what's going on. Here's what it is. My car was stolen. I am the real owner. I can show you the information, you know, that I had my title. I can show you this and you can call. So anyway, they looked at that and that says that proves nothing to us because you could show us that, but we don't know that you're who you say you are, see? So I said, the only thing I know to do is call back to my hometown. This happened in West Virginia.
Yeah.
Call back to my hometown and talk to the police department and see if they have a record of my car being, you know, that case being solved, because they solved the case and brought my car back to me.
Yeah.
Well, that finally we got it worked out, but not until after we had stood outside in the drizzling rain and we knew all the time what was going on, but the police officers thought we were dead.
Yeah.
They definitely, so we have died laughing about that over the years.
That was fun. All right. You're really going well. Uh-huh. What is the lesson in life that you will wish to share with young people?
Well, I would say, one, when you have money, you give 10% of it to somebody who also feeds your spirit. And then you put at least 10% back in your savings account. And then you're allowed to spend the 80%. But you do your tithe first, pay yourself, put your savings next, then the rest of it can go somewhere else. But do that on a regular basis and you will never have to worry about anything again. If when you're giving back to the universe, it gives back to you. And so it's very important to start doing that as early as possible. I know that young people don't think about that. They think that, you know, they don't even think about getting older. They don't think about retirement. I didn't. But I think as soon as you're able to, even now, even if you make $10, give $1 to somebody, put $1 back, and then you've got the rest. That's what I would say. And then you will have stability. You will not have to worry about relying on anybody else. And you can feel really good because you're giving back to the universe.
Yeah, true, true. So basically, you're saying set a certain percent of your money to give back, then a certain percent to save, then the rest you spend.
Yes.
But yeah,
Well,
awesome.
you can spend it. If you want to save more than that, fine.
Yeah.
If you've got it, fine. But most of us don't. Most of us are a lot of people live from paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, true.
So if you can put more back, good. If not, if you do that consistently,
Yeah,
then you'll be fine.
yeah, true. That's awesome. How did COVID-19 affected you?
Well, like I say, because of the my disease
Yeah,
and the medication I take, I have been at home for 13 months, uh, gone nowhere except the drive-in window of the drugstore.
yeah,
And I think I went up to see my doctor one time. Most of the time, I saw my doctors on Zoom. So I have been at home for over a year. But you know, I turned it around and I decided, hey, this is cool.
yeah,
I can read, I can do my artwork, I can have my privacy. I don't have to go to meetings.
yeah,
I kind of got to where I really liked it. And I'm reevaluating right now what is it that I'm going to pick back up, because I may not do some of that stuff ever again. I'm
yeah.
finding that it's not, some of that stuff's not all that important.
Like it had made you reevaluate your options, rethink about what you are doing. Awesome. Uh, have you been able to see your grandchildren or
No,
your family members?
no, but you know what?
Mhm.
I haven't been able to see my grandchildren, but they live in California.
Yeah.
So I don't see them but once or twice a year anyway. So we do phone calls.
So it's just basically through the phone calls. Yeah.
Yes. Or notes. They send me little letters and I send them little cards and birthday gifts and stuff. We keep in touch, but it's not a regular thing. Uh, but I'm not sure we would see each other that much more anyway because of where they live.
Yeah.
I used to get on a plane and go out there and visit them every year. I'm not able to do that anymore.
After COVID, maybe things will come back to normal. If you could go back to any age, what will it be?
I think maybe 40.
Why?
I think I was just starting to figure out what I needed in life. I was just starting to figure out what was important. And I needed some of those years to mature.
So it was during the 40 years you started maybe realizing what was important in your life and what was not.
True.
So just on the personal question, the last one, tell me about your first job.
My first job,
Yeah.
well, I worked at home. I was raised on a farm. And so it really wasn't a paying job. It was a family job that everybody had to work. And so I worked in terms of, we had a big tobacco crop. So I worked helping plant the tobacco, helping hoe the tobacco, helping pick up the leaves that were left behind by the cutters, picking the leaves up. I helped in stripping the tobacco. And that was my first real, you got to show up and do this kind of thing. I didn't get paid anything for it because it was considered a family, you know, this just what everybody in our family is going to be doing.
Yeah.
My first paying job, I think, was when I went to college and I did work study. I didn't have a lot of money. In fact, I didn't have hardly any money, but I worked in the summers and my parents were able to help me enough to pay my tuition and board. But for extra money, I had to work. So to buy my groceries and clothes and whatever, you know, like that kind of a incidentals, I had to work. And that was at Western Kentucky University. I worked in the housing office, and I think I made 106 an hour.
106?
Yeah. Yeah, that has been a long time ago.
Yeah.
Oh, listen, Saeed, it was 53 years ago.
Wow. So that would be probably like maybe $15 now.
No, it'd probably be minimum wage, maybe $7 or $8 now, minimum wage type job. But for me, that really helped. I worked maybe 10, 12 hours a week. And
Yeah.
back then it went a lot further than it does now too. So it's okay. It was okay.
Awesome. So the next part of the questions will be about Berea Home Village.
Yes.
And why did you join Berea Home Village?
Well, when I first started reading about the concept of the Berea Home Village, I was really interested because I love the idea of people being able to stay in their own homes, no matter how old they are. If they're able to do that, I am for it. So I learned about it through them. When I was diagnosed with this disease that I have now, approximately a little over 4 years ago, I decided to become a member. And so I signed up. I think I was one of the charter members, and was able to give them some money. And I just value their services. They have not done a lot for me, but what they have done has been really needed and effective. I had to have a surgery that was really difficult, and they came and stayed with me some. They called me on a regular basis to make sure I was okay. They took me to the doctor in Lexington one time, and it was more like moral support, because I don't have any family here at all. I don't have much in the way of family. They're all gone now. I have a few cousins who live away from here, and my children, as I told you, are hundreds and hundreds of miles from me. So I have valued their services to the max. There were times I would not, especially during that surgical period, I would not have been able to stay at home if it had not been for them and some of my friends.
Awesome. And how long have you been with Berea Home Village? For how long?
I think maybe 4 years. I'm not sure, but I think 4 years.
That's really long. Maybe I think it was founded 5 years ago, so maybe you are among the early members.
Maybe it was 5 years ago. I can't remember, Saeed. They might have a record over there, but I cannot remember.
Yeah. And maybe during that time, what is one thing that you love most about Berea Home Village?
Knowing that they're there, whether I need them or not. I just know when they're there. If I need, if I've got an emergency, I can call and talk to somebody and they'll help me get to what I need. If I get addled or confused, I can call that number and they can get me straightened out. I have a mentor who is wonderful. Her name is Angie Gillum, and Angie checks in with me still about every 2 weeks just to see, how am I doing? I'm okay. So I am okay, really, for the most part. I don't need their assistance, but just knowing that they're there is so important to me.
And comforting. Awesome. The other thing is, maybe if you could tell us one thing you love about Berea Home Village seniors and maybe volunteers.
Volunteers are just the ones I have had dealings with have mainly been 2. One gentleman took me to Lexington for a doctor's appointment, and we just had so much fun. talking the whole way up and the whole way back. We had a good time. And I really enjoyed him. And he was so helpful to me. And then my other volunteer that I see the most is Angie Gillum. She is a delight. She is a retired psychiatric nurse. So she knows a lot about the emotions that you go through when you're sick. And that has been a huge help to me. Katie Heckman has been just, she's just a breath of sunshine. And she calls and tells me different things from time to time, quick conversations, or she'll call and say, somebody's going to bring you a bouquet of flowers. And I'll say, well, that works for me, you know? So I am very impressed. I went to one of their luncheons and was able to visit with a couple other people that are members of Berea Home Village. And I found them to be delightful. We just had the most fun conversation over lunch one day.
Yeah.
So I am very impressed with the kind of volunteers that are available to me.
Awesome. So you're saying before the COVID, you had a luncheon with them, with the members?
Before COVID, I had what?
Like a meeting with the members?
Before COVID, we had a luncheon. Katie organized this luncheon. And I don't know, it's just for the members to get together with some of the volunteers also. And it was really fun. It was just some, you know, it was just an activity that they offered.
Awesome.
It was very nice. It was fun and nice.
What message do you have for the donors who want to donate to Berea Home Village?
The donors?
Yeah.
I would say that as you age, staying in your own familiar surroundings gets more and more valuable. That you really cherish that. So being able to support folks, being able to stay in their own homes is one of the most generous things you can do. They too will, if they don't understand that now, if they're not of that age group, they will really appreciate this service when they get to that age and that place where they need some outside support. And I think this is one of the best organizations in Berea. Other towns don't have it. And people ask me how they can get this in their town. And they, like people from Richmond, want to know if they're eligible to be a part of this. Well, no, they're really not, because it doesn't cover their area. But I just would encourage donors to give every year if they can, you know, even if it's a small amount, because this is really important for our community.
So it is worth the investment, right?
Yeah.
So just to wrap up the interview, do you have any special message for the seniors at Berea Home Village?
Well, I just think we need to support one another and put one foot in front of the other and be just so grateful that we are still able to be in our own homes, and be so grateful that we're, you know, that we still are valuable. You know, some people think, well, if you get old, you're no count anymore. But we have a wealth of knowledge to give and to receive from others still. I mean, we don't ever outgrow our need to learn. So I would say, let's be grateful and learn from one another.
Awesome. So would you recommend Berea Home Village to some other seniors here at Berea?
Yes, I would.
Absolutely. So finally, we are at the final part of our interview, and I want to thank you for your time and appreciate everything you are doing, and hopefully we will be in touch. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Said. I appreciate you. Thank you for asking me about these things, and I'll be glad to hear from you.
Yeah, and I wish you a quick recovery.
Okay, have a great day, all right?
Okay,
I'm
bye-bye.
gone now. Okay, bye-bye.